And we're live. Let's see how this goes. Is this my third time for today or is it my second time for today? We'll find out. Well, there's a couple quirks with operating a live video on Facebook. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, um, the actual page group share comment thing, it's all mixed up sometimes. As of right now, I still don't even know if this is actually going, but it seems like it is, so we're going to go with it. We'll see if we hear any feedback from anyone. If this is in fact live, and if not, well, I'll record it and then we'll put it up on YouTube so we could still chat. My goal, hey, by the way, I'm Peter Vaughn at Cardboard Alchemy, and I now do see a comment. Thank you, Mike Vanderveen, for confirming that we are in fact live and I can also talk to you. As I was saying, my name is Peter Vaughn from Cardboard Alchemy. Cardboard Alchemy is a board game publisher. If you're even watching this, you probably know that. But of course, like to just say hello. Happy 2023. This is a new series that I want to do where we get to talk about games getting made. Because a lot of times, my partner Brad Brooks and I run Cardboard Alchemy. We have a couple other people on the team at Cardboard Alchemy. Lauren, Chris, and Judy, and we have a fun time making games, and we get to share that via crowdfunding campaigns where it's an active community project where we bring a game to life. But along the way is actually a whole year of production and challenges and behind the scenes testing and balancing and logistics, tons of things that actually I find very interesting when I hear how other publishers do it. And I hope your camera is higher up. Oh, he's saying that I'm not talking to this camera. Thank you, Mike. I'll do my best to look at the actual camera because I've got several things going on in the studio today. But yeah, this is a little bit going to be a little bit rough as we start. My goal is to do this regularly, though, so that we can share how much fun it is to make games. And thank you every time we chat about how much we're doing this for the community, how many times we get joy out of making something and handing it to your tabletop, which is what we're here for. So, just in the behind-the-scenes mission, I was talking with... we've got several fun people in our Discord. So Cardboard Alchemy has Facebook groups for our main projects. Usually we do that. We also have a Discord, which is very active. Has a lot of our behind-the-scenes content already, but we also want to do more on YouTube and on Facebook. We're on BGG, Board Game Geek, of course, answering questions about our games over there. But this is that like chance to see something maybe that isn't shown, because of course I have to caveat things if they're out there in the wild and I say, oh, that's not final, that's going to be better, or that is going to be changed, or those kind of things. I love to clarify and also share like the stuff that no one saw on Flamecraft was just how many iterations it took to get a mini right, or color, or pieces, or fabric, or all the stuff. And if you find that interesting and you want to chat, basically we're going to have a here's the structure of what I'm thinking. Every week we're going to host one of these on Facebook. We're going to make it quick. It's not going to be like a long thing. Just we'll have one main topic. Today's topic is going to be Flamecraft versus Andromeda's Edge. If you are a Flamecraft backer, if you love the Artisan Dragons, should you go to space? That is today's topic that I want to talk about. And then after that, I'll answer any questions if there's someone in comments that has a question. If you miss out on asking a question, you can throw a comment in on any of the videos, and in a future week, I will take care of those questions, because I'm here to answer whatever it is you want to know about making board games. Now, I got the idea for doing one main topic from Axel in our Discord. Is a longtime backer of our projects, a great person, and said that would be a fun way to start, was just start with a topic and then after that to go to questions. So, today's topic then. You are one of the people who went and did these dragons over here, these little cute little plush dragons, or helped us get Flamecraft all over the world. Maybe it's because you love Sendara Tang, who is an amazing artist, and she brought this to life. Or maybe you, you are just new to Kickstarter or new to games. Manny does an amazing job at making an entry level game that also has a lot of teeth to it. So, the question is, if that's you, and this is your first game, or this is just an art project you wanted to back, should you join us for another adventure? I mean, I would love everyone to join us for another adventure, and I don't want to turn anyone away from joining us for another adventure, but I want to help people who might be conflicted about this is a much scarier looking box or bigger game. Hi, Ellie. Hi, Don. We've got some people, our regulars in Discord, as I was mentioning. Discord is a fun place to be. In fact, it's just a brief interruption from the topic to say that every week we'll go on Facebook and do one of these with a topic and questions. Then I'll head over to Discord where we can just chat about that. Just more of an open chat. And then finally, if this isn't a good time zone for you, I will put these on YouTube so that anyone can check these out, get these key topics. Because I want to make sure that no one misses out on, say, something important that we're announcing in one of these. And Ellie chimes in that we're a very friendly, helpful bunch over on the Discord, and I find that to be very true. Basically, the Discord is a welcoming place. If you're trying to solve one of our puzzles, they have the answers. If you want to know about what's the latest on the Flamecraft sequel, or what have they heard, because they're on top of everything and they can help, especially for puzzles, as Ellie says. So let's go back to the topic. The topic is, should you go in to Andromeda's Edge? Now, there's a couple pros and cons. I mean, there's a couple reasons to go in. For example, one of the reasons why you might want to go in is Andromeda's Edge is extremely satisfying. It's worker placement and engine building, and Flamecraft has engine building. Flamecraft does not have combat like Andromeda's Edge, and Flamecraft is not worker placement. Although we say it's worker placement, it's not. So worker placement usually involves a limited space on the board where I have to try and decide if I want to go to a space before you go to a space. It's a communal, it's usually a little bit of a tighter thing. Flamecraft is more of an action selection or or worker movement. It's not quite worker placement, but if you like what's happening, if you like the idea of having a worker that you get to decide what spot is the most important to you, if you like the idea that a shop is getting better and better, and in Andromeda, your space station is getting better and better. If those concepts are if those are good for you, then you don't necessarily want to miss out on a game that goes all in. I mean, like, really goes deep. And the thing that's the coolest about that, in terms of like, well, how deep, you can come on our Discord and play a game or watch a lot of videos. We're going to explain how the gameplay works. Another reason why you might want to come in is that you do love dragons, and I love dragons, and who doesn't love dragons, right? And so what we did is we partnered with Sendara to do a couple of guest pieces, a couple of factions that you could only get if you are coming in for that initial ride. For example, if you're following on GameFound, before we go live, Sendara illustrated these wyverns in space, these Astrodracus is what we're calling them, and that's a playable faction. And if you're a fan of Flamecraft, the tiny artisan dragons are also hopping in a ship, which we call the plushie prize, and those dragons adorably are a playable faction also. And one of the things that we're going to do with that as well is that if you back, you also get a shop card usable in Flamecraft with those same dragons. So there's some crossovers. We love crossovers at Cardboard Alchemy. It's so much fun to do that kind of stuff. But that does also make you think, oh, is this the game for me, right? So definitely if you love dragons and if you love fantasy, you should know that Luke is a big fantasy guy as well. Luke and Maximus are the designers of Andromeda's Edge. And while it is a science fiction game, it does have dragons, and we're working on like lots of different types of creatures that you could find in space. It's not strictly a space marine 4x crushing. It's not. Let's put this best way I can say this. It's more welcoming, I think, than many other big games, many other sci-fi games. That doesn't mean it's for everyone, and I think that's important to say. As much as a publisher, I would not want to say, "Oh, you should back everything that we make because it's all good." Well, it is, and I will defend that till we're not making a game just to make it. We're making the best games out there, but that doesn't mean that every game is for you. There will be some people who try it and say, "This isn't my jam. It's too deep. It takes too long. It's 3 hours." I mean, it's a bigger game. It also costs more. I mean, there's a big, giant deluxe box, right? So I just don't want anyone to feel that pressure. I would recommend that anyone who's interested in it watch videos, talk to people on our Discord who have tried it, who can say whether or not they found it hard for them. Because the thing that should be mentioned, though, is that Luke, he's a very accessible designer, and with his partnership with Maximus, they can teach this game to anybody. We were at a convention one time with Luke's previous big box game, which is called Dwellings of Eldervale, which I also helped develop. And I remember there's 2 people showed up at the table, and they had never played anything like that. And they said, "Is it too hard for us?" And then Luke said, it's like playing Lord of the Rings. It's like going into Lord of the Rings, and you're gonna cast spells, and you're gonna do this and that. And if that sounds fun to you, if that sounds like a worthwhile time, I think the rules will be clear enough. The basics are going to be pretty easy. You either go onto a region or you pull back everything, all your workers. It's not that hard, but there's a lot. There's so much to discover. In Andromeda's Edge, you go out with one spaceship. So we have a spaceship around, like you have these little spaceships. You're going out with a science vessel, or you're going out with a heavy cruiser, and you're going to a space on the board in a region of space, and you're going to take actions like gaining resources or building parts of your space station. But in reality, it all boils down to go with one worker or pull back all workers. It isn't, everything stems from those 2 things. And because of that, if there's a rule, like what happens if I go to this region, that rule you could figure out when it's, take one action or pull back all actions. And the regions are not that hard. However, I had to tell everybody, it is a bigger game. It is a lot more to process. There is, it's just a bigger decision space, right? So, but I had to say it. It's not that bad if you're looking at it like it's big, it's intimidating. I don't know if I've ever played one of these. I totally get you. I think that there are those games out there that are just too much, too hard to figure out, and this one is not that. It's like a medium class. It's like it's a good solid middle, It's not off the charts heavy. But I mean, that's my personal opinion. When you see it, when you dive in, when you go look at a demo with somebody, you can find out if it seems doable for you. And there's a lot of people in Discord who can tell you either way. I tried it and it was deep, or I tried it and actually I found out that it was pretty easy and I like it, and I'm finding it to be, fun. As we go through, all of us go through if you're in this hobby, if you come along in this hobby, you may find out that you surprise yourself about what kind of games you eventually like to play. I personally like games with variable player powers. And as a fun story to that, I initially, when Manny presented Flamecraft, wanted to put player powers on it because I love when my board is different than your board and I can do something cool. It's not even that I want to do something cool, it's that I also love to see you do something cool, because then in my brain I not only get to see something that's just unique for me, but also I might play that faction myself down the road, and it just excites me that there's that kind of thing going on. But when you look at a game, sometimes adding variable powers is just a level that just takes it. Like now, if I play this one, I have to learn the nuances of this one. And for Flamecraft, we didn't want that experience. Also for Flamecraft, we dialed down the start so that the shops in the beginning don't have powers. And I think that does a really nice job of ramping the game up. There is no guardrails on in Andromeda's Edge. The first turn of the game, something can attack you. You could run into battle or have this whole thing happen. There's a lot of ways to mitigate battle, but it's game on. So there aren't as many places for it to ramp up, and you've got powers to consider and different cards to consider all the time. So, but I would say that as I've played more games in the hobby, I feel like I like to play. I'm an omnivore, basically, as I like to say. I'll play a party game. I will play the deepest, crunchiest thing. Probably get my butt kicked because I don't think of every. I just want to take my turn, and I don't necessarily analyze every move. I just want to have fun. I'm more of a can I do a creative move kind of player. But my taste has definitely grown, and I love a game that like lets me dive in. I don't like a game that I could be eliminated in the first half hour, but still have to play 2 hours. And that is not Andromeda's Edge either. Everyone's in it till the final moment because there is endgame scoring all over different places. I could still pull this off, and it is exciting to play that game. So it's a 2 to 3 hour game that goes in lightning speed because you're just like, oh, I didn't get everything done. I got this and I got to do that, and I want to fly over here, and I got one more turn. So I think there's a lot of crossover, and I think there's a lot of potential that people who like the start of Flamecraft, like what it did, and if you feel like you have the interest, I think it's worth a look. If you feel like you don't have a group that plays those games, or you don't have a family that's ready to go, or the cost is too much, it's like no worries. We are going to put out an announcement in our newsletter coming up about another game that's a lot closer to Flamecraft in terms of its weight of game, is what we say. So, and it's also featuring artwork by Sandara. So if you want to wait, that's okay. We understand that not every game is for every player, and that is okay. But we do guarantee that if you jump in the deep end of the pool with us, we are going to give you a game that delivers on quality, that delivers on amazing components, that delivers on fun all the time throughout the entire play. That's a big promise, but I really believe that we're making games that I want to play again and again, and I'm having fun, and they're always a shot that I could win. They don't overstay their welcome. They're not there for like 5 hours and then it's like, oh, I lost 2 hours ago. So I really believe that Cardboard Alchemy will not disappoint you if you decide to come in, but watch a lot of the play to see if this is a game for you. That was my main topic for today. I have one more other thing that I want to do before I see if there's any questions out there, which is an exciting part of the job. Luke's like, I can't join in because of the day job, but it's great to see me on the stream, and thank you, Luke. Luke and Maximus are troopers, just like Manny, just like Matt Walters, who did our first game, Mission Catastrophe. We have been so blessed to partner with designers that really want to see that game come all the way to the finish line with us and work at that game. And Luke and Maximus right now are cooking up all of the balance of the stretch goal factions and the things that you might see if with this campaign goes off the rails into a multiverses of content. And Luke is by day a teacher, so it's amazing that he can focus this much effort on Andromeda. But he's a science teacher, so Andromeda is all about, there's one of the tracks is science. He's ready for it. He loves that topic, and he loves the topic of sci-fi and nebulas and quasars and all the things you're going to actually see if we cook this campaign into the farthest reaches of space. But anyway, I was going to say I have one more thing that I want to talk about, which is that another exciting part about being in this role is, and it was an honor to make Flamecraft. It was an honor to make Flamecraft in many languages, and that was just blowing me away. I've never been part of a game that's come out in that many languages at once, or even that many languages, period. And this wall that we're building is actually different languages that we've gotten a copy of the German game, and the Korean copy, and the Japanese copy, and the Spanish copy, and the Hungarian copy, and it's exciting every time a new language is announced. And actually, some news that I heard today that as of today, Flamecraft is now in 23 languages, which blows me away. 23 languages in 2023 is a fun set of numbers to pair up, so I'm super excited by that. And actually, just in the mail today came this copy, which was this is in Thai, so this was actually a partnership with Lucky Duck, Cardboard Alchemy, Simon, and Tower Tactics. So this is the Thai version of Flamecraft. It's super cool to see this. I've seen some videos already of people playing it. I've seen some Instagram posts from people with the Thai copy, and it's just like, wow, that is so neat. Now I want to go to Thailand and play Flamecraft. We're super thrilled to have this game go everywhere. It's an honor that you can get that for any board game. The little tiny artisan dragons are showing themselves all over the world. This is amazing. So we're gonna put the Thai copy on our wall here. I'm gonna have to move the little plush somewhere. But also on the wall, and Ellie says that it's gorgeous. I agree. The fact that it's not every language translated the title. There was a lot of care done on this one to get that in there. Phrasing, and I can't wait. If I could only read all the cards and find out what they named all the dragons, that's what I'd want to do. Mike Vanderveen, by the way, on our topic of the day, has some advice. For all the Flamecraft fans that don't play a lot of games, is to be real about whether or not they will get a big game played. Now, to that point, by the way, there is a solo mode in Andromeda's Edge, and if you do like it and don't feel like you have anyone, Luke and Maximus are designing these commanders to basically be these opponents you can play, and different opponents. So it is a game where you could play it by yourself and have a great time playing the game as it was meant to be. But Mike's advice is really solid here, which is that if you don't feel like you're going to get it to the table a lot, it is a big investment. And he also mentions Andromeda's Edge is going to be available for a long time, and let's hope that is true. I definitely want that to be the case. And so he says, be patient if your game group is not there yet. If you're building your game group and this isn't it, I mean, that's a tough one because, of course, Dwellings of Eldervale, not very available sometimes. So if you do see it and you think this is the chance, it's hard to pass. But he's right. We are partnering with Lucky Duck, and we're going to work on making Andromeda's Edge something that lasts the test of time, just like they're doing with Flamecraft. Our goal is to have really fun campaigns to kick a game off into its epic form, and then let Lucky Duck take that game down the road. They're so good at what they do in the retail market. They're so good at getting games all over the world. So if that holds true, we should see Andromeda's Edge last the test of time. Probably also, I would like to see it get, an additional campaign down the road as well, for all of Luke and Maximus's many ideas that will certainly come. So there's a good point there, which is that be aware of what you actually are going to be able to play in your collection. Now and then he also points out that the availability of Dwellings is limited to slow printing, which is true, but not to demand. So there is a big demand for these types of games. There is a huge demand for the type of game that Luke and Maximus make, which is a very satisfying worker placement game. It is a game where all your turns are important. There isn't any wasted turns as far as I'm concerned, and that makes that game super fun to play over and over and over again. And there's so much replay in the factions. You could try it with one faction and upgrade certain ships, and then play it again with different hex tiles and play a different faction and upgrade different ships. And you can see different cards, and you just wouldn't even see the same game. You could play it so many times. And that's what happens to Dwellings of Eldervale. And when I sit down to that game, which was done by Luke, it's got ogres, and it's got pirates, and it's got, do I want to play the centaur today? I mean, there's just so much things to do. So, I mean, it's the kind of thing where you want to be honest with yourself. I think that's a really good point. It's like, is this Like, do I have too many games that I haven't played? Do I have a group that's going to play this game? Can I get this game later? Is there anything I'm going to be missing out on if I get it later? And there might be, because there's differences in the pledges. You're going to have to look at all that. There are going to be, Mike points out, there's going to be new printings of Dwellings coming for years, and all the content is unlocked via the campaign and is available. And that's also the same thing we're going to do with Andromeda's Edge, which is we like to have a stretch goal that boosts the game for everybody. So when we unlock a raider that could be like the Kraken, it will be in the box. So, I mean, we'll get there. We'll talk about that. There's a lot of things to talk about for Andromeda's Edge. And there's dragons right at the start. So well, actually, there's a secret dragon. You know what? There's possibly more dragons. But right now we know of two factions of dragons that I'm putting right out there so that you can look at it. If you're a Flamecraft fan, you can say, okay, this is a different game, but Cardboard Alchemy has got us covered if we like fantasy and not just sci-fi. There is a lot of cool things to do in this game. It's never going to feel like that dry. I'm not going to say like any particular sci-fi is dry, but I'm just going to say we have that variety. We have like that Star Trek meets Star Wars meets Firefly meets Battlestar Galactica meets Expanse. Like, there's Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. Maybe Guardians is it. If we're just having fun, we're going to see lots of cool things in space. There's a comment about reveal, and there's dragons in all caps. So clearly, dragons are sought after in this universe, right? And I'm really excited that you know what, I'm just gonna even though there's reveal, I can actually tell you. That's why a raccoon. Don't have any raccoons coming yet, and he's not a raccoon, by the way. I can tell you the powers that we've got going for the Flamecraft dragons, because maybe you want to know, hey, I'm interested in Flamecraft. What do they do in space? How does this even work? Like, what are they like to play? Well, okay. So in order to describe that, I need to describe a little bit about the game in the sense that there are modules that you can attach to your space station, and modules that are in 4 categories, which is science, industry, civilization, and commerce. Okay? Now, at the beginning of the game, the Flamecraft dragons have a power called Baked In. They get to draw 4 modules, one of each type, and choose one to attach to their station at the beginning of the game. They get a free starter. You know, they've already baked it in. They're that good at their craft. They've already got a working engine. They've already started before you've started, right? So I could look at those 4 and go, oh, that's a really good science one. That'll get me a really good kick right off the gate in my energy levels. Or I'm looking at an end-game one from the civilization going like, oh, I don't even have to go buy that later. I've got it at the start of the game. It's so cool. That's one of their powers. Baked in. Second power that they have is that they are able to get credits. Now, of course, we know dragons like gold, right? I mean, that's the theory. Even artisan dragons, I mean, they're baking bread, but they appreciate a good. You know, there's coins in Flamecraft, and they do appreciate a good coin. And we've got these amazing metal coins in Andromeda's Edge. These alliance credits are the money of the realm of the galaxy, and you're spending these golden credits, and Flamecraft dragons seek those. So they've got a power to get more credits. There's the Axel says they have the blueprints for a cool ship. It's funny because we are going to go there, Axel. Their last thing that they get is they have a custom ship upgrade, because every faction has a custom ship upgrade, and they have something called the Plushie Prize, which is a science vessel. And the science vessel, the Plushie Prize, has a really fun power that normally when you're out there in the middle of space and you go flying really close to, say, a Vorticon Striker or Ice Pirates, they will come in and attack you. But everybody loves the Artisan Dragons, right? If you're in that science vessel, they have immunity. They have already diplomatic immunity. All raiders respect the Artisan Dragons. They will not come in and aggravate you, which allows you to fly to the farthest reaches of space with that vessel and dodge some of the big fights. You could go right in between an ion storm and an unannounced whatever else we got going on. You could fly right into these areas which are dangerous for everybody else and completely navigate it because, well, I mean, who wants to fire at those cute dragons? Nobody, right? Because they can still get attacked by other players, but we won't worry about that. It happens sometimes in space, but they can defend themselves as well. They actually do have quite a bit of. They just fire meat or anvils apparently at the other people. So they are a very fun faction to play, especially because they're an engine builder. Like, for example, if you want to focus on your engine, you want to get in less fights, you draft that faction, the Dracarion Flamekeepers, I believe it is. You draft them at the beginning of the game, you say, that's my faction, I am going to go build my engine because raiders can't get me, and I start with a module, and I'm going to get credits all the time, and I'm going to be able to buy all the stuff I want. So, there's someone, gem laser cannons. Yes, Ellie is saying that that's what they would fire, is gems out the front bow. Axel also says players are treacherous. That is true. You got to watch those players. Now, in Flamecraft, we don't let anybody do anything that would, there's no take that. It's actually very palatable in Andromeda's Edge as well. I mean, there is fights, right? But they are very forgiving. If you lose, you actually sometimes gain more than if you've won. And I can't get into all the reasons why that is, but trust me, you sometimes want to lose the fights on purpose, and it is not that harsh. There are fights, but it is really not impeding your ability to enjoy the heck out of the game. So, that's it. Here's a topic, right? We talked about Flamecraft, and we've talked about that faction, and it is out there. Oh, there's also, I did mention it, but you will get there's another thing that could stress people out, which is that if I don't go in, I don't get that faction. We are going to make the Flamecraft faction a store, a shop, and we're going to make that available later. That exact details of when that's going to be available is to be decided, because Andromeda's Edge is not going to come out for a while, and so the cards won't be printed for a while, but we will print shops. So if you are the kind of person that says, yep, I love Cardboard Alchemy, thank you, but I don't want to get Andromeda's Edge, I'm going to wait for the next Flamecraft or the next Sandara project, that's fine. We're going to have promos all year for Flamecraft, and we're going to make a spaceship promo so that you can say, hey, I got part of the magic as well. We'll make that available via Cardboard Alchemy newsletter or store so that you can still show us the support and get all the things if you want to get all the things. I think that's it. That's what I wanted to say about Flamecraft and Andromeda's Edge. And we launched Andromeda's Edge in 18 days, and I have a lot to prepare with Brad and with our team, Lauren and Chris and Judy, to get it all ready for you. So I am not going to dilly-dally any longer. I just wanted to do a chat every week so we can have a conversation. Now, if you have questions, please find me, type on this video, type on our YouTube, go into our Discord, ask away. We want to tell you as transparently as possible anything you want to know about the game. In future videos, I'm going to go over the gameplay process or the post-production, pre-production, something that, if I'm deciding, what colors things are going to be, or painting pieces, or trying to decide with game trays how to make that. I'd love to show those things to you so that you can understand more about these deluxeified things that we like to make. One thing that's for sure, all three of our games so far are involving game trays and minis and coins and stuff. The kind of stuff. I guess I'm kind of a dragon at heart. I guess I like to hoard all these things. And Axel's asking if we can share Tim Schwann's cinematic video. I don't have that ready to go right here, but there was an awesome teaser drop today. I will have the link I can put it on this video, and I can also put it on our Discord, and you got to see what Andromeda looks like. It is really fun. And like I said, 18 days, you're going to find out a lot more about it. All right, so I have anyone who's watching currently live, we'll be in Discord in another 20 minutes. to recap, talk, and chat about whatever. And we will do more of these chats. If you want to ask a publisher anything, we're here for you. All right? Thank you, everybody, for chiming in, and we will talk to you again soon. Cheers.